I dedicated this to my husband Alan and my daughter Nora, and my friend Patty helped me write the dedication. To Alan and Nora, upon whom so much depends. Now, unfortunately, there are no windows here, but you can have a window in your mind. Look out the window. What do you see? If you are Dr. William Carlos Williams, you see a wheelbarrow, a drizzle of rain, chickens scratching in the damp earth. Perhaps Dr. Williams is waiting to read a thermometer. Maybe he has just written a prescription, or if his young patient feels up to a game, shuffled a deck of playing cards. He looks up, looks out, and notices. The wheelbarrow belongs to Mr. Thaddeus Marshall. Dr. Williams is the Marshall's family doctor. Day after day, Mr. Marshall picks up his tools, a watering can, a rake, a trowel. He cares for his garden at 11 Elm Street in Rutherford, New Jersey. How many New Jersey people are here? Stepping around his chickens, he turns the soil, pulls weeds, harvests greens. Okay, who knows the name of one of Mr. Marshall's sons? Anyone? Anyone? Madeline? Milton, you are correct. You get the tickets. I hope you can go to the game. And she gets a star. He plucks ripe vegetables and carries them to his wheelbarrow. Then he lifts the wheelbarrow's handles and balances it on its single tire. His son, Milton, shoos the chickens away. Milton was a railroad porter for the nearby train. And Mr. Marshall pushes his wheelbarrow through the streets of Rutherford. He depends on the wheelbarrow to carry the vegetables he sells to his neighbors. Do you see? You see William Carlos Williams? Day after day, Dr. Williams also picks up his tools, a stethoscope, syringes, a blood pressure cuff, a thermometer, and more. He packs his black doctor's bag and lifts it by its two handles. He cares for patients in his office at 9 Ridge Road. He cares for patients at their homes. He bandages wounds, checks temperatures, and listens to heartbeats. He treats children with measles and chickenpox. He brings many babies, at least 3,000, into this world. Dr. Williams depends on his doctor's bag to carry the tools he needs. Along with his stethoscope and syringes, he carries a pen for writing prescriptions, a pen for crafting poems. Writing poems brings Dr. Williams joy, and he fits in his writing around his doctoring. If he's in his office, he uses the time between appointments to tap on a typewriter. He writes about trees, a fire engine, cars, and plums. You know that poem, right? This is just to say, I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox. You know that one? He chooses the words for his poetry as carefully as he examines his patients. If he's making a house call, he scribbles poems on his prescription pad. And my students pointed out that Mr. Marshall had sold some vegetables to these people on the street, which I had not noticed before, so thank you. He writes about his town and the people who live there. This was the one image I saw before I saw the almost final images. So it was a long wait, and I was just astounded. This is just what Rutherford looks like even now. Dr. Williams visits 11 Elm, where Mr. Marshall and his wife, Alice, raise their sons, Milton, Hiram, Victor, Leon and Thaddeus Jr. Perhaps he is there to set a broken arm or to soothe a high fever. Perhaps he is caring for Mr. Marshall, who has been ill. Dr. Williams pauses. He looks out the bedroom window toward the garden. He sees rain falling. It falls on the chickens scrabbling in the dirt, their feathers dingy white. It falls on Mr. Marshall's wheelbarrow, red and weathered, sturdy and strong. The rain streaks the window, soaks the garden, drips into the roots of Mr. Marshall's vegetable plants, helping them grow. Dr. Williams grasps his pen. He begins to write. He writes of what he notices. The wheelbarrow, the chickens, the rain, the yard. He writes a poem using just 16 words. Those 16 words do not describe Mr. Marshall's chicken coop or the train rattling nearby. They do not describe Mr. Marshall hefting that wheelbarrow or the aches and pains he suffers from stooping to care for his plants. They do not describe Mr. Marshall's life of work or caring or love. But somehow they say just that. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow, glazed with rainwater beside the white chicken.